Welcome back, everybody, to the Minecraft Realms Saga. It feels so good to be back again. I keep taking quite a lot of time off between videos right now, just because of some live stuff and some personal stuff with work, but I'm so happy to be back. I've not made a video or really played Minecraft in a long time, so I'm really feeling energized and good to go with this episode today. Now today I do have something really cool planned, and it is a continuation of the phase 2 of Minecraft, which we talked about last episode, with our focus on aesthetic and farms over in this opposite side of the crater here in the realm. But before we continue any further, I just have to say, wow, you guys absolutely blew me away with the last video. It's one of the best videos ever on my channel, and that is all thanks to you guys. We hit 2,600 views and it gained me over 89 new subscribers. But it wasn't just the numbers in this video, it was all the amazing comments. I really struggled to keep up and reply to everyone. It was so nice to see all the nice words and the kind thoughts you guys had about both me and the videos I was producing. And it's so amazing, all the feedback and just the fact that you guys are taking time out of your days to watch my videos and give feedback. I know it's so difficult for a small page like me for you guys to come and comment, but it means the world, and I just want to thank you so much. I feel like I'm doing this every episode we make, but it's just because you guys are every episode is showing me love and showing me how much I can do this and I can do YouTube and make videos. Because, I tried some new things in that video, from the editing style and the tweaks I made to how we transitioned from this area to phase 2. It was quite a big deviation from what I've done previously in this world and on YouTube as well. So the fact that so many of you loved it and supported it really just brought home how much fun this is going to be going forward. So since you guys gave me so much love, it only feels right that I give that back to you. And for those of you who don't know, this in here is our subscriber sanctum plus our memorial library. So in here is where we track everything that goes on in our world. And because of your guys' continued and amazing support, it feels only right to showcase that now at the start of the video rather than at the end, which is where I normally show it. This is the way I like to immortalize you guys, my viewers and all my subscribers in the world, forever. You guys are all here. You can see the first 100. You can see all the ones who have followed. So I'm going to add you guys from the last video right now so everyone can see how special and how important you have been for me in this journey as we move and develop and keep growing as a page and myself as a creator. So thank you so much, and I will see you very shortly and we will get straight into the build. So just before we dive into the build today, I just wanted to point out you may notice a few subtle but important visual changes. I've made a couple tweaks to my shader pack, kind of toning back the shaders that we use with kind of a more authentic Minecraft look, while of course keeping things visually appealing for you all. Another slight change I made, which I'm really happy with, is I've changed the clouds to now look better and sit higher in the sky, which not only fixes some of the awkward interactions between the clouds and our surrounding mountains, but it also adds this greater sense of scale to our world by having those clouds higher up in the sky. If you are interested in how the game's looking and you want the settings that I've done, just let me know and I'll try to figure out a way to make them available for you all. But for now, let's talk about today's build. Today we're taking our first real step into introducing some more fantasy elements and deeper world building into the realm. The core idea is kind of simple. It's just another automatic redstone farm for us, but this one is going to be hidden inside of a fallen tree. This world, of course, deserves more than just function. It needs lore, as I always say. A reason for this thing to exist beyond just the practicality of it all. So how do we make this tree feel like it belongs? Well, we start with its story. A fallen tree needs a past. It once stood tall, but over time its base gave out. Maybe it was its age, or maybe it was just something else altogether. So to emphasize this history, I made sure to build a substantial stump first, using dripstone blocks along some normal logs. I did this to really capture the idea of either dried out or weakened wood that couldn't hold itself together anymore. The stump gives the entire build context, and without it the fallen trunk would feel out of place, floating and fallen in a landscape with no story behind it whatsoever. Now I thought we could just go over a few of the design choices in this stump. So to create a rough, splintered look in the center of the stump, I used campfires, giving it a distinct texture from the surrounding logs, and it really comes across like I intended it to, I believe. I also added roots extending from the base. You can just see them creeping on the side, twisting and reaching back into the earth, hinting at the tree's deep history and the life it once supported. These roots really do help tie the structure back to the landscape, making it feel more natural part of the world rather than just being a place build just here on the cliffside. And of course, for the trunk itself, you can see we've just left it hollow for now. I had a couple ideas for how I want to use this space initially, but I'd love to hear your thoughts too. What would you add inside of it? And maybe wait till the end of the episode so you can have like an informed decision. But yeah, let me know in the comments, and maybe we'll revisit the space in a future episode. Custom trees are already tricky for me, but making one on its side added a whole new layer of difficulty. So just to make it ever so slightly easier for myself, I started by shaping the entrance, using it as an anchor point for the rest of the structure moving forward. Since this tree was of course meant to have fallen naturally, I focused on making the break in the wood feel organic, like a sudden collapse rather than a precise cut from an axe. Jagged edges and some uneven breaks meant there was a non-linear transition from the trunk to the interior that all helped sell the idea that this tree wasn't cut and that its demise was a product of time. For the actual doorway itself, I really wanted to set the tone for the interior just now as well. Something soft and fantastical while still feeling cozy at its core. I used like soft wooden colours and some warm lighting with organic shapes and natural materials to create an inviting entrance that blends seamlessly with the rest of the build. The goal was to make it feel like I'm stepping into a hidden magical retreat rather than just a hollowed out tree, and you'll see more of that later on. What I love so much about this build is that it introduces a brand new area that deepens our world story. For this part of the creator, I want magic to feel truly inspiring, almost as if the land itself was alive. In the last episode, I showed that I nicknamed this section the Wild Glade, and we're going to keep leaning into that magical theme. But the beauty of this area is that it also gives us room to explore different styles and themes around it, adding layers to the story that we're trying to show here. So yeah, for here, I really want to weave that sense of mystery and ancient power into the environment. Like, the tree isn't just a fallen log, it feels like it holds echoes of forces that shaped this land long ago. Maybe a remnants of that magic still linger, influencing everything around it, and it's that sense of wonder and history that I want to capture in this build. Once the main structure was in place, I did really realise the area was too small that I had initially laid out last episode. A tree of this size does need space to feel natural and commanding, while not feeling cramped or forced into the surroundings. Expanding the landscape just outwards towards the water a bit more gave me room to shape the trunk more organically, allowing for some more gentle curves and a bit more of a natural shape that made it look ancient and alive. It also meant the tree could be big enough to function as a home without feeling out of place, so I can create some interiors that are spacious yet cozy. When looking at some ideas for this build, I was most inspired by those old mushroom and foliage illustrations that you used to see in old diagram books. The kind that make nature feel a little magical and something like it's out of a forgotten storybook. And let's just say I was definitely inspired by this picture in particular, but we will get back to that later. Yeah, there's definitely something magical and enchanting about the way those old illustrations bring to life ordinary fungi. And I really wanted to capture that idea too, that same atmosphere here where I want to create a place that feels both ancient and alive, where every mushroom and leaf tells a piece of the world's story. And you can see me here just starting to put together some ideas of what these mushrooms can be. And I imagine these mushrooms almost like characters themselves, adding a touch of like whimsy and mystery to the landscape. When a tree does fall in real life, of course, fungi take over, breaking it down and feeding new growth around it. But I wanted this tree to be different. The mushrooms aren't just growing on it, they seem to be thriving because of it. And it's as if something in the earth is fueling their spread here. I like to imagine it almost as if this tree is still alive in its own way and there's some sort of old magic seeping into the ground and feeding the plant life and the fungi all around of it. And that's what I really wanted to play with here. I play with that idea that I'm blending decay and life into something mystical and magical with a story, as if the mushrooms here were drawing power from the tree's ancient roots, which helped it grow so tall in the first place. But from the perspective of a build, I love how the mushrooms add a pop of color to the landscape. The deep reds and those rich browns you can see dotting up break up that natural green of the earth tones that sit just behind it, giving the area a vibrant and almost surreal feel. And of course, these mushrooms give this tree and this landmark its own identity, and it's that blend of color and decay and life that creates something entirely new for our space here. It's a place that feels alive with history and mystery, and I really like what I've executed here. But even with all these big ideas of lore and world building and all the history, the tree still needs to feel lived in, I think. So from that perspective, I went around and added some small windows throughout the trunk, letting in that warm light peeking through the bark. And the lanterns and the glowing mushrooms really help make the space feel welcoming, even with its, more mysterious elements that we've talked about. I was then quite happy with the trunk itself, with the life we've really been able to induce into it. I wanted to move on to the surrounding areas. And to build on those sort of story ideas and those points we were looking to hit, I wanted to give the feeling around the tree that the mushrooms and the plants aren't just growing on the tree, they're coming from the earth itself, as if something beneath the surface is helping to fuel their spread. And as you can see, there is a lot more going on here than just a simple redstone build, which is what this idea started out as, of course, again. The glowing mushrooms and the twisting vines, it's all kind of spreading in a semi-unnatural but organized way as well. And it all suggests that something deeper is at play here. Maybe it's the magic in the soil or some long lost energy. There's a whole world of possibilities here, and it's something we're going to explore very shortly. I really like what I was able to do with this build so far, and it's really hitting those ideas and themes where we want to be blending fantasy with function and giving our section of this world here a bit more depth. And of course, this is only just like the second build in this second phase that we're working on. But it's one of my favorite things about playing on this server with my friends is that my ideas are just a small part of it. If we step away from our little corner here, we'll find some completely different concepts and styles being worked on. It keeps everything fresh and really makes me want to come back to our own projects even more. And we definitely need to go back and check in and catch up with everyone else on the server soon. So that is us fully caught up on the exterior of the build, and I really like this build. I think it's quite lovely actually. It really stands on its own and has its own sort of identity then. I just love how it all turned out. But I just want to talk through some of the details of the exterior that I've not pointed out yet. And then we can move on to the interior and finalize those sort of thoughts. So I've just sort of connected it ever so slightly to our main path that works our way up here. We've not really shown, since we built this, I've not really shown you this pathway that I've worked on. Just a simple stone path with the azalea and the moss and stuff. So yeah, this just works around here, and I got a couple of mushrooms just at the back peeking here, and these trees just to fully encapsulate that overgrown sort of style we love doing here. So a lovely little detail that I've discovered. I am 100% sure that all of you guys know about this, but the leaf block with the better leaves mod and then a carpet on top creates such a great grass texture alongside the other bits of grass here. With the pop of color, I just love it. It looks like the poppy leaves you can place. It's like, in fact, if I brought some of those over and then thought about that, it would have been a great idea. This is just our path now. Then you can see how it sort of fits in. You can see our little section of the world here from a different angle, just coming around to this front side here. So it's great to see our little world and our little corner of it here from a different angle. I love Peter's place up there. It really contrasts what we have done and what we're working on. And he's got a whole other project he's got going on. But anyway, so I mentioned earlier, ever so slightly, I wanted this place to feel lived in, which is why we have the windows here and all the different lights and stuff, because this is a home, but it wasn't a home for us. I wanted it to be a home for something a little bit more special. So welcome to the Grove and welcome to the gnome. I absolutely love this. I wanted it to be as magical on the outside as it on the inside as it was on the outside. So a big part of that was adding this giant gnome to this home. And a big inspiration was that image that I showed you earlier. Let's just have a little quick run around the inside here before I get into all the details. So again, a couple of mushrooms on the inside, and he's got a little mushroom hat and all. So to actually make it clear that this is the gnome's home, I wanted it to feel oversized in what we've done here. So you can see we've got the giant bed, a giant crafting table here, and a giant little oven sort of thing that you can make soups in, and that sort of idea. It's kind of a nice little change from what we've been doing on these other interiors, and it was a great way for me to flex a couple different, brain muscles to get these ideas out into our world here. It was a challenge fitting these like oversized things into our build, because obviously I wanted the bed to be bigger, because obviously he can't fit in this bed here, but it is still his home sweet gnome. I've not got a name for this guy yet, so if you guys wanted to help us out, you can give us a name and we can fully welcome this guy into our world. But for now, he's just going to be the gnome in the gnome's home. But yeah, this gnome isn't just here for fun. That is a big part of it, but it's all about building that story that I was talking about earlier. So he actually does serve a purpose in this story, and I see him as a guardian who's watching over what is below us there. So you can just see he's sitting above that hole in the ground. So let's just go and explore that a little bit further. So I mentioned a lot I wanted this area to feel like it had some sort of magical energy to it, since we're using this place for an automatic farm. I wanted a fun way to explain the abundance of life. So let's just go down here and we can talk about this concept a little bit more. So I want to welcome you all to the magical grove. Let's just have a little pan around in here. It's very overgrown and very dense with life. You can see another little mushroom poking through there, and again there, and we've got all the mushrooms inside as well. So yeah, I wanted there to be like a reason for... I'm going to get back to this in a second. I pretend we didn't see that. So I'm going to be collecting a lot of sugarcane here, because just in here, in another little secret area off to the side in our magical grove, is our automated sugarcane farm just back here. So in here, I wanted to create like a magical research station, like someone is, or us, we are that person. We are investigating all the magic and the arcane attributes that we can see all around us here. Almost like the redstone we use in this area is more magical in nature, but the redstone over in our factory is more mechanical in nature, and we don't really need an explanation for it. Because of the factory and the way we've built it, it sort of makes more sense for that to be the way it is. So the sugarcane is just behind here, actually. Can we get back here without destroying everything. Yeah, so you can just see it back in there. So it's just a regular run-of-the-mill observer piston farm. When it grows to 3 high, it'll shoot out and destroy the top 2 blocks. So then it just loops, and then we've got a water stream just coming down here, and I've used ice to connect all the different streams. I think it goes back about 32, so it's like a stack altogether of observers and pistons. So it's netting us quite a decent amount of sugarcane, which is all we actually do need this for. It's going to be the heart of our paper production. So all those water streams, they just funnel into here and it just collects in here. So nice and simple. So like I was saying, this is our sugarcane farm. It's magical. It's an explanation to this abundance of life that we're going to be seeing down in here. So rather than just being a farm for farm's sakes, it's a farm that's got this abundance of life, and it's got a reasoning behind that. And that reasoning is explained a bit more with what I showed you here. So I wanted there to be like a magical core to the grove down here, and this is what this is. So I was heavily inspired by a tree that BOO made, and you can see he has made this almost exact tree before, but I just thought it was so perfect for what we're trying to do here. I did copy it, and it's just, I love it. I love how he does trees and uses the tough blocks to make that sort of texture, so it differentiates itself from the outside wood that we use and makes it sort of stand out. And then obviously all these amethysts that give it that magical glow that we were really going for. And the way I see it is that this tree or this area or this little section is almost pulsating with energy. I kind of wish we could have more of a particle effect coming off it, and it's producing this magic which is making all these different life, all this life down here thrive, and we are utilizing it or making the most out of it, or it itself is producing all these products for us. So yes, there's going to be sugarcane farm in there, but we have got space in 2 more areas, just in here, which is just below our walkway, and just through here, which is another area I've carved out. And I'm thinking we're probably going to stick like a vine farm in here and a glowberry farm, but there's plenty of space, in these areas for 1, 2, 3, 4, as many builds as we can really fit, but within the context of what we've built down here. And I just wanted this space to feel as magical, as mystical as I could. So I've used like nice subtle lighting and lanterns and the glowberries and the amethysts and the glowing mushrooms, of course, just to give it that soft but kind of otherworldly feeling. And it's like completely taking over in here. And then just to reinforce that idea, we've got this nice little small pool of water, where there's plant life, there's water. Those two are harmonious together. And like I said, this is just the start of us bringing more life into our world with the gnome and the grove and the concept of magic influencing our farms. I think there's a lot of potential to expand on these ideas in other ways, either where they're more unique or more tied to this, and whether that's more creatures or more magical hidden sites or even more statues or monuments and more stuff with signs and wordage and explanation and lore. Just because I just love the world building we can do in here, and I think this really captures that essence and that idea that we really are going for. This was again just like another really fun experiment, mixing in that function with storytelling, which I really am thriving to show you guys here on my page. And it's just something I really want to explore more as we expand in our little section of the world here. But like I said, this is just the idea for now, and this area, and as we develop our other builds and other areas, we're going to try out different ideas and explore different themes, and it's all going to blend harmoniously though, because obviously this is our area, so between the builds our paths have to make sense and linking them have to make sense, which is why our overgrown factory over there kind of fits so well because of how magical this area is. Oh my god, a creeper. Not now. Oh no, that scared me. Okay, one sec. Let me find a bed to sleep in. So yeah, sorry, as I was saying, so like our factory fits in so well with here because that is overgrown yet mechanical, but this is overgrown yet magical. And seeing that sort of through line between the two ideas, just in this area, obviously, as we work our way around, I want to get a slightly more industrial. As you can see, the factory is going from like factory style to industrial, but not overgrown. and these two builds are going to sort of have that gap that blends between the both areas. But let me know what you guys think. I think honestly the log could have been done better, the tree itself, but with all the ideas and points we were hitting, I think it sort of allows itself to not be perfect, because we're going for something more than just like, here's the best tree build you can do, you know. It's something way more than that. So I think it sort of allows myself a bit of room to find my style and build to my strengths a bit more than what other people might do. But yeah, that is going to wrap us up just now, guys, and that is everything I've got to say. If there's any ideas or any concepts you like or you've seen that you want me to implement, just let me know in the comments below. But thank you so much for watching. If you've got this far, all the support you guys have been giving me has just been unreal. Keep showing me love and keep showing me support, and I will keep putting out these videos for you. This is just the start for us. Like I say, we're only 15, 16 episodes in, so yeah, we've done a lot here. We're getting snuck up on. We've done a lot here, it looks like, but in reality we've touched like a quarter of our cliff face, and that's only on the surface here. We've got to go up on top of the hill still. I want to work in this area. Anyway, before I get too far ahead of myself, thank you so much, and I will see you guys in the next episode of the Minecraft Realms Saga. Oh god.